stars. Welcome to another episode of In the Pit. I'm your host, Rick. Oh my God, this is going to be a fun one. Welcome my guest, Mr. Chris Wild. How are you from Maiden, Texas?
Hey, Rick, what's up?
So you are like me. You play in a lot of tributes. So it's going to be, if I screw up and announce you like from one of your other tributes, just kind of reach through the phone and be like,
If that were possible, yes, I would.
Thank God. So you're saying I'm off the hook?
Yes, you're off the hook. I'll have to slap you when I see you next.
Well, you add it to the list of things you're going to slap me for, because everybody, like, I get slapped a lot. And I'm like, really? What the hell?
You don't remember what you did 2 weeks ago?
I don't even remember what I did yesterday. Are you
Right.
kidding me? Wait, was there tequila involved?
Probably.
I remember exactly. I was drinking tequila.
That's the universal excuse for you.
You know what? Everybody needs a crutch. That's
Yes.
fine.
I'm with you.
Although I'm gonna start jacking with people. Amy and I, even though we're not big whiskey, bourbon, rye drinkers, we have started a whiskey, bourbon, rye collection. So I now have 6, 7, 8 bottles of different whiskey, bourbons, and ryes. And interesting. Different palate flavor notes, and it's a different drink. Obviously, but it's I drink it the same way. I drink it hot and naked, and that's how I want my liquor, hot and naked. Just give it to me.
Yeah,
and
I'm the same way.
I say that to people, and it's funny because that's the way you order it, and people look at me like, "How did you just order?" I'm like, "I want to be hot and naked," and no, I'm like, I want my liquor hot and naked, which means I want it at room temperature and naked. I don't want it dressed. No salt, no limes, no crap. Just and then it makes sense to people. I'm like, and actually, I just like the fact that I get to say hot and naked. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Oh my God, man, you look great today.
Oh, thank you. I wish I felt great, but
wait, what did you do?
No, just a late night last night.
I know. That's why I'm saying, what did you do?
We went over to Tease and hung out, watched Christy and Glenn do their Burning Sky band.
Okay, nice. And again, everyone's gonna be like, wait, that wasn't yesterday. No, we record these shows in advance. I went and saw Graceland Ninjas over at Legacy Hall. So and again, Shannon Sharp, guitarist for Graceland Ninjas, guitarist for Basket Case, which is just saying.
Now we're going to have something in common soon, because I'm working on a Yes tribute, and the keyboard player in Graceland Ninjas is playing keys in the Yes thing.
Oh, I saw him last night. It's funny. I'm like a little kid. He saw me standing, like side stage kind of in that at Legacy where the table is for the band. Yeah. And he looked at me and he smiled, and I was like, oh, he saw me. I'm such a dork. Like when my friends see me and they smile, they're like, oh, Rick's here. I get all excited inside.
Yeah.
It's stupid, I know, but I'm like, oh my God, they know me.
I had some lady last night come up to me. I was wearing the original Maiden Texxas shirt, and she said, hey, I want to buy one of those. And I said, these are already out of print, but I can get you one of these, the Power Slave shirts. And so I sold a shirt last night, and it's, nice when someone recognizes you like that. So
okay. And then let's be honest. For those of you watching, yes, we are all in tributes, and some of us are also in original bands. But when we go out and about, we are normal music lovers. Like we go to shows, and when people recognize you, there's a little bit like, oh my God, they know who I am. Yeah. I'm flattered. And then I get embarrassed because it's like, wait, I'm not a rock star. I'm just a normal guy. And you're people, they'll go, will you autograph something? Or it's like, I feel like I should, I should be embarrassed, but I don't. I'm like, okay, yeah, absolutely. And then I'll turn around and go, oh my God, they knew who I was. But that's part of what we do, because we are in the scene. A lot of us are in multiple bands. Yeah. And again, we are very privileged. We get in privileged. Let me make sure I'm real clear on that. This is, this is not a guarantee. It's not a right. This is a privilege to get to go and play music. And, it's when people, and it's the fans are what make this happen.
Absolutely.
And so when they come up to you, I always try to make time for them. I've got a 2-minute rule. I will give somebody 2 minutes of my undivided attention and sometimes people will come up to talk to me, and I literally be like, hold on, I'm focused here, and it's because I would hate to, I'd be disrespectful to the people that are, again, filling the audience and giving the club a reason to bring us back. Right. And they go, oh, he was a douchebag. I'm not going to see him again. You're smiling, but it again, correct? It's
yes.
I know. You in your other band where you look like Lumberjack Joe, and I'm not gonna, unless you want to pronounce.
We can say it.
Okay, you in Blizzard of Oz. Okay, coming as Zach Wild. Dude, how you don't know you? I mean, it took me, bonehead me. It took me a couple times before I oh, that's the same person. Oh,
I get it all the time. Everybody's like, I don't recognize you without the get up, and it's all right.
But you don't have that in Maiden Texxas.
No.
So which one do you get recognized for more?
Mostly for the Blizzard thing.
Even without the.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, just like you, most everybody else, it took time to put the two together. And now people know that it's me outside of the getup.
It's right there. He's got the beard somewhere, I'm sure.
Oh yeah, well, I have the beard, but
oh, that's perfect. I just like the kilt. There are two men in town that wear kilts, and they rock the crap out of it. You and Thomas Moore.
Yes, Thomas.
You guys have a brotherhood, and I got to be honest with you. I'm tempted to get a kilt, but mine would be all black. I'm tempted to get a kilt.
I have an all black one. That was the first one I ever bought, was all black.
Oh, dude, I'm telling you, I would wear all black kilt, a black vest, and some black combat boots, and rock the shit out of that, and be like, I'm sorry, I just swore.
You should do that.
Yeah, I would have to have a leopard thong underneath just to, because now.
Well, we would expect nothing less.
Okay, but I know Thomas, and we've had this conversation on air, and I watch ladies go up and lift the kilt, and then they're like,
oh, they put the camera, the phone under there. If I'm playing like an amplified, they get right up to the front and they're doing this.
And, and I'm going to ask you the same thing I asked Tom. Do you give them a show?
No. No.
You know what? I know what I'm getting you for the holidays. I'm getting you like a Pink Panther, an elephant, Mr. Snuffleupagus thong that you can wear under there.
No. If you're going to get me anything, if you remember the last interview, I only wear Hello Kitty.
Hello Kitty. Oh, yes. My God. Oh, so if you get a Hello Kitty thong, oh, my God. Dude, you're going to end up just as creepy as me at some point.
I'm probably already there. I'm just not as out about it.
Oh, I'm out about it. Wow. Oh my God. I guess we should talk a little bit of business. I mean,
yeah, I guess.
So let's see. It's funny because we see each other. We've been to dinner, and you were like, "Hey, when can Maiden Texxas come on?" And I think it took me just a few days. And I got back with you. I'm like, "How about let's just do an interview?" And you're like,
right.
Okay. Let's talk. And okay, I'm going to get smacked, not just by you. I've got it coming from a lot of my friends when they watch this interview, especially Carlos Silva, my bass player for Rebel Yell. He's a die-hard Iron Maiden fan. And I'm honest, I'm not. And school me, guys. School me. What am I missing? Give me some history. Why am I missing the boat?
Well, first off, one of the things I always get asked this question: which one do you like to do more, Blizzard or Maiden Texxas?
Different.
And I said, yes, they're different. The Aussie thing is fun because I get to, put the get up on, and it's just me playing guitar. The Maiden thing is easier, so therefore it's more fun because it's easier. But now that we have this big stage show, then it's made it even harder because we got to get there early and set up the whole stage show and stuff like that. So, I don't have to wear the get up or anything, so it's more comfortable. There's two guitar players, so it makes it a little bit easier.
So wait, you said Maiden is easier?
Yes, Maiden for a guitar player than Ozzy. The Maiden stuff, it's not easy. It's just easier than the Ozzy stuff.
No, I got that part. No, easier. I guess I would have thought it would be more difficult, and maybe it's easier because what, two?
Well, it's easier because there's two guitar players mostly playing the same stuff. It's when you get to the two guitar players doing the harmonies, that's the challenge part of it. And that's for me, that's one of the reasons why I like it, is because it's that challenge to work with that other guitar player and stay in time, which doesn't always actually happen. But I will say even the real guys get off.
Oh my God. And it's funny because yes, we as tribute artists, we put in a lot of time. I would say some of the tributes in town rival or exceed the original, and there's no disrespect intended at all, but the amount of time and energy that is put into some of the tributes is it's impressive. That's all I can say. It's impressive. It's there, and there are some truly great bands out there. We all know Back in Black. You go see the Infinite Journeys, who again, wicked talented. Y'all, I know, like when you talk about big stage productions, look at the Crueligans. They bring a monster set to the stage. Maiden Texxas, you guys now have quite an impressive stage setup, correct?
Yes, I recreated, me and Frank, we basically built from scratch and recreated the Power Slave stage that they toured on.
Wow. And then you get the guys in Mental Health, which again, they bring, you know, the whole Quiet Riot show. It's Rebel Yell, we've played with them. It's impressive. You know, I've always been more of a streamlined guy, like let me get on stage and rock your face off, you know, doing some pop punk. The stage presentation though is oh my God. And again, please educate Bonehead me. I like the Monster Skull guy that Iron Maiden. What's his name? Eddie. Dude, what a Halloween costume. Like, I always liked it. Again, that alone should have drugged me into checking out, you know, the band. I never did. And I've heard some of their stuff and I'm like, okay. Is that you typing?
No.
Oh, okay. I thought I could hear you.
I hear the clicking too, but
it might be on my end. I'm sorry. So that alone should have dropped me into the band, but I didn't. And I'm gonna have to go back and actually listen to it, because I'm sure there's probably a lot of Iron Maiden that I'd be like, oh, I know that. I love that. You know what I mean? Yeah.
I think if back in the day in the 80s, if you liked Iron Maiden then you're a fan for life, because you were into it when they were big and they had their stuff on MTV and things like that. You know, Eddie was certainly a part of that, because they've had Eddie since the very early stages of their careers. And so, you know, doing the stage show and having Eddie now just adds to the whole presentation of the music as well. And I told Frank when he first said he wanted to do the Eddie thing, I said, in a real short period of time, you're going to be more popular than any of us in the band. And he is.
So tell me about the costume. And I'm sorry, Halloween, I like costume. Tell me about the costumes.
Well, hang on just a second.
Uh-oh.
So
yes,
everybody's familiar with Peace of Mind. You see how Eddie is.
Hold on, move it over a little so I can see it.
Dressed up there in a straight jacket.
Yep.
So, you know, with that, one of the cool things about Iron Maiden is a lot of their songs are story based, and then they have all this stuff to do with Eddie. So it's so easy to change things and make things different every show. It's like printing shirts. This is the new shirt. The original shirt is different, but I could print a new shirt every time and sell all the shirts every show.
Really?
It's so story-based. It's so easy. And I compare that to the Ozzy thing. You know, Ozzy talks a lot about, you know, smoking pot and doing drugs and stuff like that.
Really?
And there's only so much you can do with it. There's only so much you can do with that. But with Iron Maiden, it's all these stories, you know, Power Slave and like the latest album, Senjutsu, is, you know, Japanese based and stuff like that. And Eddie's has a complete makeover. He's dressed up like a samurai. So every time they do something different, it just adds to the story of Eddie and their music. And it's just so easy to manipulate stage and songs. You know, their career is so long. They've got so many songs. We could never play all the hits and make everybody happy, even if we played for 3 hours.
So that's going to be my next question, is how much music do you have now in Maiden Texxas catalog?
We played a 3-hour show.
Holy cow. Wow.
We did take a break, but we've played a 3-hour show, and so there was at least 2.5 hours worth of music.
You know, you're lucky I wasn't there. I'd have been like, get back to work, man. There's no breaks.
Yeah. Are you crying? There's no crying in rock and roll.
You knew exactly what I was thinking. Oh, that's greatness. I'm going to die here. Now, was that a summertime show or was it indoor?
No, we actually did that at the Maverick.
Okay.
And because we were trying to get an opening band so that we didn't have to play for that long, and it kind of fell through with who we were trying to get. So I was like, well, we already have this catalog of music learned. Let's just play it, because we're always complaining that, man, I really don't want to not do this song this show. And I'm like, okay, well, here's our opportunity. We can play basically our entire repertoire and not leave anything out. And we did.
So what's funny is Basket Case, we've got like 3 hours plus we've got an hour of covers that Green Day has done. They've got a cover band called the Cover Ups. So we went and learned an hour of that. Like, we have hours of music. And I will tell you, yeah, you're always going, hold on, what song are we cutting? And it's like, I'm always worried though, when you just play a show and it's just you, that are the fans going to stick around, and can they handle that much of one artist? You know what I mean?
That's one of the greatest things about Iron Maiden. Iron Maiden fans are rabid all over the world. They would love it if you played for 4 hours. They will listen, and they're always complaining, you guys didn't play this, or you're not playing anything of the newer era stuff, and you can't please them all, but they will come and they will stay for the whole show because they love Iron Maiden that much.
That is awesome. It's funny, you gave me a Blizzard t-shirt, and I'll wear, I wear, my friends all give me t-shirts and I wear them out. I was at the grocery store and somebody comes up and goes, Blizzard of Oz, aren't they an Aussie tribute? I'm like, yeah. And they're like, I've seen them. I'm like, I have too. And they're like, where did you get the t-shirt? I'm like, I know one of the players in the band. And they're like, oh. And I'm in Rowlett. I'm at the grocery store and somebody comes up to me. And you said you could print different t-shirts. That is greatness. Putting those t-shirts out there and having them. Again, do you get that when you go to a store to like the one person is like, I want the original? Does that happen a lot?
It doesn't happen as much as I would like it to happen, but it does happen quite a bit. I can be anywhere and someone will see the shirt. Oh, dude, that's a badass shirt. And I'm like, does he recognize it as a tribute band shirt, or does he just think it's an Aussie shirt? So then I'll actually say I'm in the band, and they're like, oh, really? I've seen you guys, but they don't recognize without the get up. So there's like, oh, okay. And it gets into this whole conversation. So that part's really cool.
Yeah, but I'm looking, stand up a little bit so I can see. That is so, it's so close to the original. Like I get, like, if you wear that out in public, I could see somebody not even getting the fact that it's not Iron Maiden. You know what I mean?
Let me tell you a funny story about Maiden Texxas. Okay. So when they initially started, I wasn't the original second guitar player. They had somebody else. But when they first started, they only had one X in Texas. Well, there was a 3-lady country bluegrass type band from San Antonio or Austin. They were called Maiden Texxas with one X. So they were getting these women showing up to their shows going, where's the country and the bluegrass stuff? Because they were seeing the name Maiden Texxas, and they were expecting that, and then vice versa, it would be like, where's the Iron Maiden band going to their show? So then, hence the 2 X's in Texas, and now that female country bluegrass band has since gone defunct, and they don't exist anymore. And everybody's, well, why don't you put it? And I'm like, no, we're sticking with the 2 X's because it's cool now.
I actually like the 2 X's.
Yeah.
I think they're cool t-shirts, man. Good job. I mean, all your shirts are greatness. And that's the thing that I don't think that fans realize. We don't get rich off t-shirts. In fact, it's a losing in the red proposition at best. You are spending money to market your band. You don't make money off it. So when you go to a band and you buy a t-shirt, and I'm saying this for a reason, and you try to haggle with them, please understand those awesome t-shirts, they're paying you almost to wear them because we lose money on them. You don't make money at t-shirts.
Mm-hmm.
So when you see a t-shirt for a band, please appreciate just the love the band has for that artist and for what they're doing, that they're putting out. They're putting out a t-shirt because that is a labor of love, correct?
Yeah. I mean, for me, I buy the shirts. Obviously, I have to pay for them up front, and then I go out and sell them. And like you said, we're not getting rich off of them. Even if I was to make a dollar on each shirt, I'm not doing it to get that dollar. I'm doing it because I want everybody wearing my shirts, because Iron Maiden is one of the biggest bands out there where you can go anywhere and you'll probably find somebody wearing an Iron Maiden
t-shirt. I promise you.
Yeah. So I'm like, if I can print different designs and get people buying, people are like, when's the next design coming up? John Inman from Def Legend.
Yep.
He's a big t-shirt collector.
Yep.
And so I just did another order for some 3Xs for this shirt.
Uh-huh.
And so he's like, his buddy prints those shirts for us. And he's like, "Ooh, is it a new design? Because I want to get one." And I'm like, no, it's not a new design yet. That's the next one coming out for the next show, whenever that is in September, October. But Iron Maiden fans will buy 100 Iron Maiden shirts.
Wow. And so it's funny because you can see my basket case right there, t-shirt.
Mm-hmm.
They are, again, I like having them in the audience, and it does become one of those things where you almost, it's not that you're giving them away, you're trying to break even if you're lucky, because you want to see your t-shirt.
Mm-hmm.
And the other thing that I like is, if I go to one of our shows, I'll see Green Day as well as basket case. And I like it. That shows I've got fans in the audience. Iron Maiden, I'm going to tell you right now, I don't care what show you go to, somebody's going to have an Iron Maiden t-shirt on, like you said, or maybe a Maiden Texxas t-shirt. But again,
hopefully
they're going to have that on, and you got to go, heck yeah. That they're there for some Iron Maiden music, or it's just like Blizzard of Oz. They're there for some Ozzy.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of an affirmation of, okay, we've got some fans in the audience. Nice. We love it.
When Frank got hooked up with us, I would always tell Frank, anybody that you go into the audience, and anybody that's wearing an Iron Maiden shirt, go up and talk to them and give them one of the cards that I had printed.
Yes.
And make sure that they know about Maiden Texxas. Well, then it turned into this thing where I wanted to start doing it. So anywhere I go, if I see someone wearing an Iron Maiden shirt, I have cards in my wallet. I go up to them. I said, "Oh, are you a big fan of Iron Maiden?" And they'll say, "Oh, yeah." And I'm like, "Oh, have you ever heard of Maiden Texxas?" I'm
looking behind me on the shelf. I've got basket case cards.
Yeah.
They look just like the t-shirt. And again, they're just like that. Here you go. Take a basket case t-shirt.
Right. And I carry picks with me for both bands. So if they're, anything that wants other than the card, I give them a pick. We had at the last Maiden show, we had a couple from Finland that came.
Wow.
They didn't come to our show. They were here visiting, and they came to the show because they were huge fans of Iron Maiden. I'm like, oh, I got them shirts. I gave them picks. I gave them, because I'm like, you're here visiting and you love Iron Maiden so much, you came to see us. I got to reward that.
So let's talk about mascots. As you can see, I have Drunk Bunny sitting on the shelf. So we have Green Day has Drunk Bunny, who anybody who knows Green Day knows that they come out and they, he stumbles around and gets the crowd pumped. You guys have Eddie. And let's talk about mascots. That is an extensive costume.
He has like 8 costumes now.
Oh, wow.
He's got like 10 different masks.
Oh my God.
We try to gear costumes to songs, so he'll come out dressed up as Power Slave Eddie when we play Power Slave.
Nice.
He'll come out in the flight headgear and the bomber jacket for Aces High.
Nice.
Like I said, we've got specific costumes for specific songs, because I don't want Eddie, just like Iron Maiden. Eddie doesn't come out on every song. He comes out periodically. You don't want to burn that out. But now what I'm doing is, if he doesn't come out on stage, I tell him to go out in the audience, because everybody wants a picture with Eddie.
Yes.
And like I said, he's more popular than we are.
Well, I will tell you, having a mascot, and there's not many bands that have a mascot, to my knowledge. I hadn't thought about it until just this moment. I know both of us do. I'm not sure who else does, and I'm gonna have to think about that one for a minute.
Well, we've started for the bigger shows for the Aussie band. We've started hiring our favorite dwarf Kenny, because Ozzy had a dwarf come out on stage during Diary of a Madman, and they hung him, which we would never do.
Yeah,
but so we had at the Lava show, we had Kenny come out, and so I don't know if you call that a mascot, but it works. People love it.
The only closest thing I would say would maybe be the Nastier Habits for the Curligans, the dancers.
Yeah, that's another.
There's not many bands in town that have this. Again, this additional member or members that are not the band, but that are iconic enough that everyone knows. And again, I know from childhood, Kenny. It would, what I will say, almost like Mental Health, that the mask.
Mm-hmm.
That would be the next closest thing, and again, that's the next closest thing. There's not that many.
I don't think anything can compare to Eddie.
Oh my God! You know what? I tell you what. At some point, I'm gonna have to bring the Drunk Bunny, and either I'm gonna do it or have somebody do. I want to come get a picture with Eddie. Like, I want Drunk Bunny and Eddie in a picture.
That would be cool. Yeah, we can let's hook that up. I think that would be really cool.
That would be a fun photo shoot. Of course, Drunk Bunny's just a drunk idiot. So,
well, so is Eddie. He's just dead.
That makes it even better. Oh my God! So tell me about the new. Can we talk about the new stage that you got production?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Let's talk about the new stage production.
Okay. Like I said, about a year and a half ago, me and Frank started talking about, it's one thing to get up on stage and play the music and do it well. But for Maiden, they always have these massive productions.
Big time. And
so I was like, if you want to separate yourselves from the other bands, one way to do it, thank you, John Inman. One way to do it is to have a big stage production. So we started sitting down and designing, and I got on my computer and I laid it all out, what I, conceptually what I wanted. And then I would go out and start figuring out, how am I going to do this? And so Frank and I spent 8 weeks of Sundays before our show at my house building the pyramid walls. And I'm sure somebody will post a picture that's on our website during the interview to show what it looks like. But doing the pyramid walls, and then I had these 4.5 foot tall Egyptian dogs, custom airbrushed. I had these special King Tut mummy looking things. Those were expensive, but I put Eddie's face on it just like they do. And then just so that was the original show that we did. And then the last show that we did, I added more pyramid walls and some Egyptian cats that are about 3.5 feet tall.
You do know, all my tattoos are Egyptian based. Like, anybody who's seen me, it's just the pictures that I drew that I handed to my artist. I said, put them on me, partly because I want my own original artwork. And so that is the other side. And again, I don't know how I'm not an Iron Maiden fan, because they always had that kind of that Egyptian influenced in the artwork. It's like, how did I miss it? How did I not sit down? And Carlos Silva is going to probably kick me in the head and be like, dude, I'm telling you, if you know Carlos, he is a die-hard Iron Maiden fan, and he plays in a lot of bands, wicked talented bass player. And he's always telling me, like, this is my favorite band. How did I miss it? Somewhere along the way, like, I feel some guilt where, as much as I'm a pop punk guy, I'm going to go back and start listening to some Iron Maiden. There's got to be stuff that's going to, like, grab me and be like, okay, you're an idiot, man. You waited too long. I know it.
Just so you know, the very first 2 albums that they put out with the other singer, Paul Di'Anno, the original
didn't he have the Pharaoh headdress?
No. They got popular. They started right as soon as the punk age in England ended. So the first 2 albums, there's some punk. It's kind of like punk metal being well together. So you might go back and listen to those, because there's some stuff in there that I think you'll appreciate.
Do you know Chuck from Kill 'Em All?
Oh yeah,
I know, he always tells me, he's like, that Metallica's early stuff is very punk influence. I'm like, he's like, Rick, and I like Metallica, but he's like, you don't realize you are more of a like metal drummer. You've got that metal in you because a lot of it comes from that early punk stuff. Like, you know, obviously everyone knows I did Sedated, the Ramones for a few years. And, you know, you kind of, just because I'm a freaking hyper spaz, it was greatness for me to be able to play like that. I really do. And I've seen them, thanks to Chuck, you're the man. Going back and listening to some of the older Metallica, I didn't even realize how much that, oh, I like that one. Oh, and I like that one. You're going to get a call from me, Chris, going, yeah, you were right, man. I've been missing stuff. And please don't tell Carlos because he's going to smack me.
Yeah, well, Carlos, I'm sure is going to watch this and he's going to double smack you.
Oh, you know what? And he is such a dream to be in a band with. And I'm going to give props real quick because he is a wickedly nice guy.
Yes.
Incredibly talented. I like being around, and he's got a plethora of knowledge in his head. And just, he's always 110% straight up professional, and happens to be my tequila partner because we both we both love rum chata and we both love tequila. So
well, and the fact that Carlos loves Iron Maiden as much as he does should tell you need to get in there. I stand corrected.
And it's funny, there was a post recently, Jeff DeYoung, and I always kind of poke Jeff. Jeff, I love you, brother. He made a post about drum risers. And of course, I'm always like, man, a damn good drummer doesn't need no stupid drum riser. And I've been corrected. And it's not that I'm against drum risers. You give me a drum riser, I'm going to set up. I'm actually going to copy Jeff DeYoung. I'm going to make a drum riser. I just don't want to have to haul more crap because I've already got enough crap to haul. But when you have stage production like y'all do and whatnot, it kind of comes with the territory. I mean, I see what the Cruligans go through. I'm going to dive in and I'm going to start bringing more crap.
It's not always the rule, but sometimes like you said, it's band specific, but it comes with the territory. But in some cases, bigger is better.
Def Legend has a monsters. And I'm like, yeah, you get to that point though, that you need roadies, we need trailers. Like we need to get there, not at 4:00, but we need to be there at noon so we can set up for our show. And we're not getting home till probably 4 a.m. or 5. Like
me and Frank, we do all that. Frank has all the stuff in his garage. So I have to go over to Frank's at like 10 o'clock in the morning. We load up his truck. We go down to Amplified and get there by noon. And then we start setting up. It takes us 3-4 hours to get it all set up because it's just me and him.
And then the band rolls in for normal sound check. And you're like, yeah, we've already been here. And again, as a drummer, I'm always kind of snippy with everyone. I'm like, I'm the first one in, last one out. You start bringing stage props. He's like, I hate all of you. Why am I doing this? Well, it's a love of the production. But the fan is the ultimate winner here.
Oh, yeah. And I kind of have done it just like Def Legend does. If you don't show up, if you're a member of the band and you don't show up to help set up and tear down, you don't get paid as much.
Oh, good God, no.
And they're fine with it. They, and I'm fine with it too. Hey, if you just want to show up and play and then leave, I'm going to happy to do it all with me and Frank, but we're going to get paid more. More.
Here's the thing is there a minimum, like if somebody goes, hey, we want you for 45. Oh, you ain't getting the big show. Sorry. You.
Yeah. I mean, there's places that are not big enough that have asked us to play, like the Revel.
Okay.
We can play the Revel and I can bring some of it. So I kind of, for Maiden, I have 3 options. And that is you get the regular show where it's just us showing up and we can play as long as you want, but there's no stage show.
Yep.
You can get kind of some of the stage show and it's more expensive, or you can get the full production and it's the full price.
And I think that's how it has to be. You need to have a kind of a McDonald's value meal, like figure out which one you want. And here you go. Because I watch what Def Legend goes through. I haven't seen your whole setup breakdown, but I've seen the Cruligans and I know what a production level of that show. So I go into depth on this and talk about it because you as the audience need to understand what the bands are going through on the backside. When you go out, you're like, oh my God, they were incredible. You need to understand the hours of labor and love that go into giving you this big, almost stadium-esque show. That this is a production. It's not just the hours spent learning to play the songs and make it tight and the stage movements, choreography, but it's also all the outfits, again, time and money spent, but then the props. It's just This is a traveling circus. So if you think that, oh my God, they charged me $10 to get in. Yeah, guess what? You need to go, thank you for only charging me $10 to get in because you got a steal of a deal.
Yeah.
You should be paying $20, $30 to get into a show of that caliber because of what goes on.
Yeah, I mean, I would even throw in there the hours and time that Frank and I spent building that set.
Never going to get recoup that. You know.
Yeah, but it was all done because we wanted to present more of a show to the audience because that's what Iron Maiden does. So like you said before, it just comes with the territory.
Yeah. Yeah. And you know what though, again, not to belabor it all, but this is a labor of love. We love being musicians. We are and this is a privilege. It's not a right. It's a privilege to get to do this. You know, it's and there's a lot of great bands out there. There's some bands that mail it in and wicked talented, but they mail it in. And then there's some bands that just go over the top and you're like, oh my God, you're exhausting, man. You're making me tired.
What's funny also is I didn't realize this was a byproduct. I didn't realize it was going to happen this way. But once we built the stage show, we started getting more calls from the local bands wanting to open for us because they knew with the bigger stage show, there was going to be more of a draw.
You know, yes. And what's funny is I've kept my business plan. I've always kept Basket Case I always said I want to be like the biggest opener. That's been my goal all along. And I know we headline shows and we do great at headlining. I actually love opening. Not that I don't want to bring the full setup, but I'm already bringing a ton of crap. Like I want to play and then I want to hang out. So I will reaffirm what you said. Yes, I would be stoked if we were opening for the Def Legends, the Krilligans, the Maiden Texxas. Like I want to open for the big bands and I want that crowd so whipped up in a frenzy that when you guys walk on stage with your monster production, that it's, again, people are like, holy cow. And again, I'm working on some stage production for our headlining shows where you're like, oh my God, Basket Case is bringing some, again, but it's so much work. And you go, can somebody get me like some speed or something?
Well, my second most favorite moment of doing anything tribute band wise, we set that show up the very first time last October.
Okay.
At Amplified. I designed it around Amplified stage.
Yep.
And so I told Frank, I said, we have to go to Walmart and buy these black sheets because I don't want people seeing this. I want this covered until I'm ready for them to see it.
Bingo.
So we had a Metallica band open for us, Motor Breath.
Okay.
And so they set their stuff up in front of us and you could kind of see what was there, but because it was all covered in black sheets. So we had it all set up and we rehearsed taking the sheets off and stuff like that to make sure it would be done in a timely manner and nothing would get stuck.
Yep.
And so when it came time to play, I said, when the lights go out, you're going to start taking these sheets off. And so I'm telling you, this is exactly what happened. We were on stage. I stood out to the edge of the stage looking backwards and just watched him take the sheets off. And behind me, the audience is just oohing and awing.
Yeah.
And it was just like chills on my arms. I was just like, going, okay,
awesome.
All that stuff that we did, all that time that we spent, totally worth it.
Don't you miss the old days? And I remember back in the 90s playing clubs down in LA and Denver where they actually had curtains that would go up and everything. I know that the Granada used curtains for a while.
Yeah.
House
of Blues used to do
House of Blues curtains. There's a couple other ones that I think have had curtains. I even think Trees has curtains, if I'm not mistaken. And
I've never seen it, but
maybe I'm wrong. I think that there's something about not seeing the stage until the band's ready to go on. And when a big, like a national touring act has the big white sheet and all of a sudden it drops and you see them. There is something just like, yes, it's a rock show, baby. And I know it's stupid, but
it's not.
Hide the set until we are ready to give you our performance.
Black Label Society. Whatever he plays, he has his big Black Label sheet up there. He'll start playing. He'll be playing for like 20 seconds before the sheet drops.
I just watched Garbage, a video of Garbage, and they played their whole first song with the lights on behind them, but a white sheet. The whole first song, you never saw the band, and all of a sudden they drop it, and they play a monster hit. The second song was a monster hit, and of course they drop it, they whisk it away, and it's like the crowd goes absolutely bonkers because the band. Oh my God! Yeah.
I wish we actually made our own curtain and hung the steel rope with the plastic around it up and amplified, and we had because I wanted to do it. That was very early on. We realized how much of a pain in the ass, so we didn't do it. But the very first show, it was so cool. We had the curtain, the opening band sat up in front of the curtain.
Nice.
And when we were ready, we pulled the curtain. We had it split in half. We pulled it to the side like that, and it's just too much of a pain in the ass. But
I understand.
I wish more venues had and used them.
Oh my Lord. I'm going to have to get with you outside of here. I'm picking everyone's brains because I've got a bunch of things I want to ask you that are technical related to what we do behind the scenes. Oh my God. You know what? I'm going to have to come out soon and check out a Maiden Texxas show. And you know what? If you're game, maybe we infuse a little basket case open for Maiden Texxas and do a little punk influence stuff.
Like I said, their first 2 albums were punk inspired for sure. If you listen to them, you'll hear it.
I will tell you, we've opened for Kill 'Em All a couple times, and again, Chuck was right. I'll tell you the way it went together, that pop punk plus the punk influenced metal was like great shows. And yeah, I would love to open for you guys sometime. We'll come whip the crowd into a frenzy for you.
Sure.
Hey, will you come back and do this again? I know
Absolutely.
you're going to tell me yes, because we have a great time.
Of course I'm going to say yes. And like I told you earlier, I was wanting to have Eddie here, but he couldn't make it. So next time.
We'll get together. We're gonna do a photo shoot. Get the mascots together, and we'll do something obnoxious and just for the hell of it, just to put it out there.
Yeah.
Man, thank you for coming on the show again and hanging out with me. I know it's a different product, but still always a blast. We need to get together again soon. Folks, if it's your first time tuning in, thank you for tuning in. Please go and like us on Facebook and invite your friends to like us. If Facebook's not your thing, we're cool with that. You can go to iHeart Radio. You can go to Spotify. You could go to YouTube, you go Instagram, Twitter, which is me. I'm so about it. But we also have a Roku channel and we have an Amazon Fire channel. So we got plenty of avenues for you to come check us out. You can also go download our app in the Pit with Ric. It's free. Go watch the shows there. You can also use the calendar to see where the local bands are playing. And you know what? If you're in a band, send it to me. I also have the Concert Connection concert calendar. We do it every week. Talk about Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Send me your stuff. We'll announce your shows. So again, we're just trying to help support the live local music scene here in Dallas, Texas. If you're watching us from Europe, South America, Australia, all over the U.S., we appreciate you. But when you come to Dallas, come check out some live local music. We got a great scene here. So again, get off the couch and go support. Chris, thank you again, my friend, for hanging out with me. I love it every single time. We have a great time. This has been Chris. I'm Rick, and we will catch you somewhere in the pit.
Up the irons.